What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and I just watched the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. I just watched it. I was sitting right there. I finished it, put down my thoughts on my phone about it, and here I am. So it's very fresh for me. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick. I'm not crying from the movie, although it did actually make me cry. Not like sobbing sad, but it's a feel-good holiday Christmas movie that has some really touching parts. It really does. This is one of those things going in where I think of like Christmas specials, holiday specials. I think of like The Grinch, Jingle All the Way, Home Alone, stuff like that. You know, the movies that you kind of watch each year because they make it feel like Christmas. It's like, you know, an unofficial tradition, or maybe official in your family, that you might do during the holidays. So that's what I thought this was going to be like, and that's pretty much what it was. And I really enjoyed it. I actually really did. I didn't expect much coming in. So let's talk about one thing first before I talk about some other things, and all are kind of important. But the first thing is I want to talk about what James Gunn said. He did say that this, of course, is MCU canon, which it is, and he did say that this happens after Thor: Love and Thunder, but before Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So it happens after Guardians 2, Endgame, all of that stuff. And I'm assuming this is like right before Guardians 3. Now, no spoilers in this. This is going to be a spoiler for your review, so don't worry about that. Excuse me. But there are big parts in this that will affect the MCU, but they're very quick and they're not the focus. Maybe kind of one thing that's talked about at the end that it'll have an effect on the Guardians, but not a huge effect on the MCU as a whole. There is one really big part, and it's definitely going to have some big implications for the future of the MCU and the future of the Guardians of the Galaxy for sure. In fact, like I mentioned, everything's quick. That's kind of serious, and it was so quick that I had to pause it when I was watching it, rewind it, and then put the subtitles on, because I was like, did I just hear that right? Did they just say what I think they just said? And then subtitles confirmed it. Yes. And I was like, that's kind of big. I was like, that's really big. And they just kind of brush over it. Now it's kind of like an unspoken part of the whole entire special. And you'll see what I mean. Again, no spoilers. But I was like, that actually is kind of big. That's something. So there are a few big parts. There's some pretty good parts that are really quick, and you're just kind of like, oh, like Cosmo, the dog. She was introduced in the trailer, so this isn't really a spoiler if you've seen the trailers, which I hope you have. You know, that's like a big deal, right? But it's not such a big deal in the Christmas special. And I'm wondering, like, okay, is Cosmo going to be a part of Guardians of the Galaxy? Will Cosmo be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, right? So there's little things like that, but there's this one big part where I'm like, this is kind of important. And they kind of just say it and brush over it like it's nothing. I know they'll address it in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Like, I know they will. There was one part at the end. Keep in mind, it's a Christmas movie. There are gifts that are exchanged, and there's this one part in relation to Groot, who is, I like in this, I really do, where I was genuinely confused. It's not like it has any big implication or anything like that, not even that it's important, but I was so confused, and I was just like, wait a second, I don't even understand. But it's there, and it's kind of funny. Now, what to expect? Like I mentioned, this is a Christmas holiday film. It's not Avengers Endgame. and it's not trying to be, right? So don't go in there expecting it to blow your mind, to be game-changing for the MCU. It's kind of like Werewolf by Night. Werewolf by Night was a great watch, and the story was great, and just watching it was awesome. Did it really affect the MCU? Probably those specific events, not really. Did it affect a character that's going to be in the MCU? Yes, absolutely. That's what we have here. These will affect kind of the Guardians of the Galaxy, but that's not what it's about. It's a feel-good 40-minute, I think, 40, 45, 42 minutes movie about the holidays and about a family, right? Because the Guardians are a family. There's some genuine touching moments in this, as you would expect from any holiday Christmas film. Now, I will say, I almost like kept a tally, like a tab of how many times I laughed out loud, because it's classic Guardians humor. The only way I could really describe this movie is it's a Christmas movie with the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, that's how you would describe it, their humor. And it works perfectly because I love the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're one of my favorite teams in the MCU. And, you know, Christmas time makes you feel good. Holiday season makes you feel good. And they touch on all of that, right? It's funny, it's lighthearted, but it's also very heartfelt at the same time. Very touching. It really is. Like I said, I actually did cry. At the very end, you'll see why. Not spoilers, no spoilers, can't put any spoilers in this, but you know, it's one of those movies that I think now I'll watch every year. I do. I think I'm going to watch it every year. Now, the ending is cool. It's really cool. You know, without saying anything, it's touching, but it also, it tells you a story of how some things came to be with Quill, with Star-Lord, which I think is really, really cool. It's kind of weird. It's not, I'll just say it's not shot in the same way that the rest of the film is shot. That's all I'll say about that, because I don't want to give any spoilers away for it. But it opens with this kind of filming, and you're kind of confused at first, but now I understand why they did it. And at the end, it ends with that as well, and you're just kind of like, huh, interesting that they decided to do it. I get why, but the story that it's actually telling is cool. It's heartfelt, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed pretty much everything about this, even Kevin Bacon. The story, I mean, truthfully, what I think who I enjoyed the most was Mantis, right? Because you've seen a lot of the footage in the trailers. It's Mantis and Drax go to Earth, right? And try to get Kevin Bacon for Quill. And Mantis, Palm, she's awesome. And I love the chemistry between Drax and Mantis. I love the chemistry between her and Quill and the rest of them. Even like Karen Gillan, Nebula, like her scenes, like they're kind of quick sometimes, but I'm like, dang, like amazing job. I don't need to review the actors. We know they're all great at playing their parts, right? Everyone does amazing, but really the story and just the humor, comedy is really good. It's that classic Guardians of the Galaxy humor mixed in with a good, heartfelt holiday Christmas story. So it's really, really cool. I recommend everybody watch it. I'm sure most people will really love this and think it's really fun, at the least. I've talked to a few people who've already watched it, and they're just kind of like, well, it's nothing special. And after watching it, I'm like, well, sure, it doesn't really, it's not Avengers Endgame, but you know what? It's not supposed to be, so I'm super okay with that. I think it's really great. I think it's really just a fun, feel-good time, and I think it's exactly what James Gunn and all of the cast and Kevin Feige wanted it to be. It's cool. It's really fun. It's a good ride, and it's part of my like Christmas untradition time where I'm gonna watch it each year just because it's like, oh, hey, we got to watch the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. So it comes out not too long from now. I want to know what everybody thinks. Let me know what you think so far from the trailers that you've seen, and let me know how excited you are for it, because I truly enjoyed it. This is it's probably one of the better things to come from Phase 4. As far as enjoyment, as far as my enjoyment goes, it's definitely one of the better things to come from Phase 4. So I'm excited for everybody to watch it. I'm excited to watch it again. Maybe we'll do a watch party. But yeah, so don't forget to subscribe so you can tune in to that watch party, and of course all the other Marvel videos. And of course, I will catch you all in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.